The number one women's hockey team has won 16 straight games to open the season. Hosts WCHA rival Minnesota this weekend for a pair of games at LeBon Arena. Friday's game starts at 7 p.m., while Saturday is a 3 p.m. start. Head coach Mark Johnson is here. We'll have some opening comments, then take questions.
Thanks. Just reflecting on this past weekend, I thought Friday night's game, the early part of the first period, we got challenged. It was a physical game, and I thought our team responded real well and was able to win a hard-fought game. And I think, as I say, it did challenge us, and we responded really in a positive way and rebounded. Saturday's game was probably the most complete game we've played all season, from start to finish. Our special teams were very good, and we created a lot of opportunities. Certainly in the second period, we were able to capitalize on some of them and finished the series off on a real positive note. And as I say, it was probably our most complete game of this part of the season so far.
Obviously, there's a lot more to go to your season, and yet this is hard to underplay the bigness of this series with Minnesota. How important is it at this point of the year to show you can beat them?
Well, I think it comes at a good time, from the standpoint of, finding out more about ourselves as a team. And obviously, they're a strong team. They've got good special teams. They've got a couple, special players. And so the challenge for us is to prepare this week and, come out, Friday night with the same energy we played this past weekend. And, be more concerned about us than them, and coming out and playing up to our potential, doing the little things necessary against a quality opponent to give you a good opportunity to win the game. And as I say, we're in a good spot, and it's just a matter of continuing what we've done up to this point and continue to move forward.
Mark, was Dartmouth your biggest test this year? Was it the sternest test, I should say, or have there been other opponents that maybe drew a little bit more out of you guys?
I thought Friday night's game was good for us because it was physical. There were parts of it that we were executing well, and other parts that we weren't. They created some scoring opportunities. We played 1-1 for a long period of time, and we're able to get the second goal and then, kill off some power plays that, Ann had to make a couple nice saves. We had scrambles in front of their net. Looked at times that they had good opportunities to tie. So we hadn't been in that situation for a period of time, and I think, executing and coming out of it with a 4-1 win is helpful, and it prepares you, and it certainly will prepare us better for this weekend, having gone through it.
You've never had a team with a better record at this point in a season, but have you ever had a better team at this point in a season?
Well, I think if we go back to, the first time I've talked to you guys, the one thing I like about this group is the chemistry. They get along well. They like being around each other. They take care of each other. And so when you combine that with the work habits they have, you have a special group. And then it's a matter of going on the ice and executing and, giving yourself opportunities to win hockey games, and they've been able to do that up to this point.
Andy?
Mark, is there any difference, Gopher Week being a player versus being a coach?
I think for both it's fun. There's some weekends, you're scratching your head trying to figure out what you can do to motivate your team because you're playing X, Y, Z that weekend. History tells me as a player when I played against the Gophers, it didn't take much to get you motivated. You were excited whether you're playing here in Madison or you're playing up in Minneapolis. And I think from the coaching standpoint, the players probably are a little bit more focused in practice over the course of the week because they, as players, enjoy these type of weekends too. These are the weekends that you put all the extra work in the summer, the extra reps in the weight room, the extra skating. These are the fun weekends where you get to go out and showcase yourself against a real top opponent.
Emily Clark has scored a goal in the last 6 games. What do you think's clicking for Emily?
I think, having come back from, the Four Nations and her experience with Hockey Canada, generally kids come back excited for those opportunities. And she's now what you'd call a veteran with the group because she's been at a couple of them, been at World Championships. And, being, partway through her sophomore year, I think just being comfortable, being confident, and she's sort of what I call a rink rat. She's got a smile on her face all the time, and, she spent a long journey getting back to Madison from Sweden, and, the first time you see her at the rink, she's got a big smile on her face. She just likes playing hockey, and, it's nice to see her have success. When you watch us play, there's certain people that are going to stick out over the course of the game, and she's certainly one that's been able to, be recognized by our fans and our opponents because she's playing at such a high level right now.
Mark, you're famously even-keeled, but would your players say that there's a difference about you going into a series like this against a obvious rival?
I would hope not. I hope my preparation's the same, but there probably is a little bit, extra whatever, just because, these are fun weekends. These are weekends that, as a coach, your players are going to be excited. It's our job to manage their energy and make sure our preparation gives them an opportunity to execute and take care of things that we have to do Friday night. And so it's a fun week. I can't wait till Friday night. I know there'll be a big crowd, and those are the games and the days that are really exciting for everybody, especially when you play them in your barn.
You've probably been on both sides of it, where you've been on teams or coached teams that have beaten a team for umpteen years in a row, and you've been on the side of it where it's hard to get over a hump against a team for years in a row. What's the difference in mindset when you're on both sides of those coins?
Well, part of it is confidence, and there's such a fine line with that. But again, what's happened in the past, you learn from, and you move forward and try to, maybe prepare your team this year. Maybe just a slight difference from what you did in previous years. But history tells me in all those games, other than maybe one that I can remember, they were all pretty tight. 2-1 overtime games. We played better than they did. They ended up outscoring us and beating us, vice versa. Our big hurdle is getting over the win-loss column and making sure we're on the right side of the ledger Friday night, and that's the object. I don't think I'll deviate from our preparation into Friday night's game compared to last weekend. We'll do similar routine as we've done in the past. As I mentioned earlier, we're in a good place. We're in a good position. It's just a matter of going on the ice and executing. And we've come up short in the past, and hopefully we push ourselves forward enough Friday and Saturday to give ourselves a chance to be successful.
Anything else for Coach? All right. Thanks, Mark.